What's up everybody, welcome back to Nintendo Land. Sega just gave us a brand new snippet of what to expect from some upcoming trailers for Sonic Frontiers. Now if you haven't seen it yet, I'm going to show you the trailer first and then begin talking about it because it just dropped this morning, so enjoy. Yeah, there's so much stuff to uncover. I mean, seriously, just the music alone gives me massive Breath of the Wild vibes. This is going to be a crazy, insane game, and I can't wait to talk about this right now. If you guys are excited for Sonic Frontiers, leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on all things Sonic and Nintendo and Sega, I guess, in general, as we're talking about Sonic as it's coming out very soon. But let's get into this discussion. First scene, we see Sonic busting through the woods and opening up into a flower-filled field. And he actually hits a boost as he moves forward, which is obviously showing that Sonic's going to be able to boost his way through this world. Now, I don't see a boost meter, so maybe it's unlimited, that he can just continue to boost around, which would be pretty cool to reach places at high speeds. But this is the first time we really get to see anybody taking control of Sonic, and it truly does look like Sonic's going to be able to run literally anywhere, which is exciting. He could choose any direction to go, and he goes off here to the right. There's some other temples and structures in the background and the foreground, so Sonic can probably go interact with those. Something that's interesting is we can see grind rails just floating in the sky above Sonic for some reason. We'll see more later in the trailer, but it is kind of awkward, I have to admit, to just see grind rails just floating in the sky, and you'll see more later. Next up, we see Sonic running on some type of circular treadmill, and as he's running on it, it eventually opens up some type of grid system to show the terrain near Sonic. So this, to me, looks the most like Sheikah Towers in Breath of the Wild, where when you activate a tower, it shows you all the terrain that's near you within that region and within that area. And maybe this is the same type of thing. If you can find these little treadmills, Sonic can run on them and open up the area nearby on his map. At the bottom right of the screen, you can see some little guys jumping around, and they actually look exactly like Koroks. They look like little wooden creatures with even leaves poking out the top of their head and holes for their eyes and mouth. It literally looks like Koroks. Maybe they're the civilians of this once peaceful land that Sonic has to eventually save. In the background, you can see a bridge with rings on it, so Sonic will once again be able to collect rings, and it goes all the way off into the background, and just look at the multiple different paths that Sonic can take back there. Under the underpass, other bridges, and other catwalks. This is a really beautiful world. You can even see grind rails that Sonic can jump on from the underneath and ride his way all the way to the top of the underpath, which is really cool. At the top left, we get to see more grind rails with some type of bumper maybe that Sonic can bump into, or some type of enemy. But look at these grind rails. They're so segmented and just weird looking. I mean, you have one that's kind of like a Z just floating there, and you have a loop, and the loop isn't even quite a loop. It's like weird, like almost like they're not supposed to be there. Maybe that ties into the story. But in the forest, we get to see some type of spring maybe to get Sonic up there and bounce him up to the guardrails that are in the sky. Something else that's very interesting is once Sonic activates the beacon, there seems to be some type of question mark over there, which maybe this enters into a separate level that Sonic can jump through that portal. Maybe it's a portal instead of just a terrain finder, but it does search the terrain and show a grid format over the terrain, so I really don't know. It does look like there's some robot enemies in the top right that are moving, but this time instead of this pinkish red glow that they have this green tint that comes from the beacon that Sonic activated. And maybe he can turn robots into good robots now after this or something within that area. I'm not quite sure, but it would just kind of make sense. We then get to see Sonic do some combat, which is very interesting. But the first thing I want to note is the fact that it is raining, so we're probably going to have weather. Hopefully Sonic is able to climb rocks or kind of run up hills without slipping like Breath of the Wild during the rain. But this rain looks really neat. I really like the fact that there's actual weather to this overworld, and it's not going to always be the same time of day. We've also saw the fact that it can be nighttime in the first trailer, so that's very, very cool. Sonic here is using the trail that we've seen in the trailer that follows behind him, and he's running in circles around this enemy. And this enemy is trying to attack with a giant spear. When Sonic runs around it, it circles him up and then eventually collapses him and then boosts them both in the air for Sonic to continue with homing attacks, beating him up in the air as well. I love this because Sonic isn't just a fighter. He's not going to walk up to an enemy and start punching and kicking them like he does in some of the games they try to have him do at least, but this time he actually uses his homing attack and combines it with his speed boost into some really cool combos. In the background, we get to see a little floating platform with rings on it, and maybe Sonic can slide down the hill into a cave or something, and maybe it's a subsection down below that leads him down there, but just thought I'd point that out. We get to see another robotic style of enemy right beside the one Sonic's fighting, and it seems to be the same enemy but in a different formation, so this shows maybe some variation in enemies, or some great variation in enemies. Then see Sonic fighting an enemy that's a bunch of robotic spheres moving around, and Sonic has to keep fighting it as he's not able to just home attack on it, and this shows Sonic actually punching and kicking, but this time tied in with his home attack. Once he home attacks on top of it, he can actually start punching and kicking, very similar to what he could do in Sonic Lost World, where sometimes he could actually punch or kick an enemy after a homing attack. We then see him get some type of power-up, where he jumps back and charges up, and charges towards the enemy with a zigzag homing attack that just completely devastates this enemy. This could be some type of superpower that Sonic gains after a while, or some type of meter that he has to fill up, or maybe it's just part of his moveset, because man, if that's so, he has a lot of moves in his moveset this time around, which is insane. After the attack, the robot explodes and sends this giant whirlwind out that Sonic gets to ride, and it looks kind of weird as he's just kind of floating and riding the whirlwind upside down. That just, I don't know, that looks kind of weird. Now we can look at the background a little bit during this battle. To the left, we see another one of those question marks, which maybe just indicates a zone or something that Sonic has not been to yet, or maybe some type of small side mission that Sonic can do within this overworld. Or maybe it even means that there's some type of level that way that Sonic can actually do. Maybe there's different levels that Sonic can warp to, and it takes him away from this open world aspect and maybe more along the lines of his modern Sonic linear levels. Who knows? But this is very interesting that they at least mark these, and maybe this just helps us to find hidden areas that we have not yet found on the map. Once again, there's so many grind rails just all over the sky in just different forms and patterns. It looks like Sonic's going to be spending a lot of time grinding on these rails and probably scratching up his shoes. Then see Sonic on one of these grind rails in the sky, and we get to see him switch rails, when, let me be honest, they normally are never working in Sonic games. Switching rails are always like one of the hardest things. This looks like they fixed it a lot because they slowed down the momentum a little bit and make sure that Sonic actually connects to that second rail. As you can see, it's very magnetic. He goes straight to the next rail without any issues. Sonic has to switch because his rail is ending, and at the end of this current rail that he's on, you get to see some rings that Sonic's probably able to fly through and land on the ground below. Sonic seems to be traveling to some type of village or something that's over here. We get to see lots of huts and like some type of structure that maybe Sonic can go inside, and some type of temple in the middle. This definitely looks like some type of civilization. We get to see yet again another question mark down there, which maybe once again just signifies that Sonic is entering a new zone or new area, or maybe once again it's a side quest and they just aren't showing the characters at those side quests right now. On to the right, we get to see yet again another type of civilization, or maybe just some ancient ruins that Sonic can visit, and this is all on the body of some type of lake or water. I don't know what this is, but this looks to be a lot of fun. It just looks like an area that I can't wait to go explore, and that's what the best part of open worlds is, just finding new areas, finding new things that look interesting and just exploring them and seeing what's there. This is going to be a really fun open world. It even looks like Sonic will be able to go down through the cliff sides and maybe find secrets, as there is some type of cliff side that he can jump down and a hidden platform down there, which maybe is hiding a secret or something that he needs for his moveset. Then down to the bottom right, we have like a miniature ramp maybe that Sonic can launch himself off of, maybe over the water or something. I'm not quite sure what that's going to do, but it just looks interesting. I want to run off of it right now, even if it is going to end in my demise. I want to try it. We saw the giant creature in the opening trailer, and it looks like we get to see one version of one of them that's going to be on the map right now, and maybe Sonic has to go around the map taking these guys down. So to take this one down, Sonic has to wait for it to slam his giant arm on the ground, and then he can run up it, following through some blue circles that he gets to sprint all the way up the arm. Once he's all the way up there to the top, he gets to then take out the giant pillar in the middle by dodging the lasers as well. Once he hits the antenna on the top enough, eventually it will glitch out and break and blow up completely, meaning Sonic was able to take down one of these giant creatures, and there's probably multiple of them walking around the map in different forms that Sonic's got to take out, which is just incredibly cool. This is giving me lots of Shadow of the Colossus vibes in Breath of the Wild. Remember in Breath of the Wild we get to see the giant divine beasts just walking around, eventually making your way to them? Maybe this is the same thing here. Hopefully they actually load in from far away, which means you can make your way to them. In the background to the left, we get to see some type of platform with two different grind rails, one on the top portion, one on the bottom portion, and maybe another grind rail to the right of it going across across the valley or something. And you can look at the background during the fight, and man, one of the things that I know I was worried about was the land being kind of barren, because the initial trailer didn't show any of this. They really hid it all. But look how much stuff is out there to look at and explore. Look how many floating temples and grind rails there are, and different bridges and paths and little villages. There's just so much jam-packed into this game, and this is just a small 30-second snippet of what we even know about this game. Sonic Frontiers is actually shaping up to be one of the best Sonic games ever. And I mean, in fact, this looks incredible. The combat looks fun, Sonic's movement looks great, just the world looks insane. This is beautiful. Literally, I mean beautiful. And it looks like we're going to get more information all June long about the story, the combat, the gameplay, all of it. And it could come as soon as tomorrow through IGN, which is very exciting. So I would actually follow IGN right now to stay up to date, because there's a lot of stuff coming very soon. Make sure you're subscribed here to Nintendo Land for more information on Sonic Frontiers that comes out in the future. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See you guys.